Hi, and welcome to the Indie Music Podcast, the podcast for independent musicians and other audio professionals. We're your hosts. I'm Matt Denton, also known as Mojo of Ragged Birds Music. I'm a Bay Area mix engineer and recording artist. And Douglas Reynolds of Resonance Mastering, a mastering engineer in Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome to Indie Music Podcast, episode 216. Tonight, Matt and Doug discuss the microphones they use for the podcast. Then they talk about Doug's desire to add a Royer mic to the mix for his guitar recordings. Asia bursts in and bumps her head. Then they talk about practicing and carving out time wherever possible to work on things that are fun and interesting. Enjoy the show. What's happening?
What is happening? What's happening? What's going on, man?
Well, I think I figured out why my audio was really kind of weird and it had different levels. Is I had a guitar mic plugged in and it was picking up in addition to my vocal mic.
Oh, well, that would do it.
Yeah.
I knew something was going on. That last one had a little hotness in.
I just realized it here when I was setting up and I saw, that's picking up signal out of that second channel.
Oh, even more than your usual hotness.
Yeah. It's on fire.
You were on fire. You were smoking. It's our challenge to make this sound professional.
It is. Speaking, you're kind of sounding a little echoey and tinny, but maybe that's just Zoom.
It could be Zoom. It could be, you know what? I may have the wrong microphone set. Oh, hang on 1 second. Dope. How's that?
Oh,
much
there
better.
It is.
Got to be much better
There's
now.
the silky smooth.
Got to be much better now. Yeah. Big difference between the Pro Lewitt condenser and my cheap webcam microphone. Fancy that.
Which is echoey and tinny.
Well, yeah, it picks up a lot of room because it's over there on the top of my monitor and not right in my face like this one. Yeah, wow. It sounds way different.
So tell me about the Lewitt mic, because I think it sounds really good. Have you ever recorded?
I thought you had one.
Guitar? No.
Oh.
No, you know what? I sold that T-Rex.
Okay.
And that was the only Lewitt mic that I had.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a workhorse condenser. I was really impressed with, Warren Hewitt. He did that one video when they first came out with this one. This is kind of like a, medium to low budget, level mic. I mean, that's where it's aimed, but it's, it's pro level quality, but it's aimed at, kind of a prosumer level. They're only like $150 or something like that. They're pretty inexpensive. And he recorded like a whole song using this mic on guitar, using it on drums, using it on vocals, using it on bass, just to prove that it was versatile. And it sounded great. And then also, it was in one of Mixer Man's books as like one of the best workhorse microphone brands for entry level. And I was like, well, you know what? I need something that's a little legit that I can use all the time. And I just intended to use it for a singing mic before I bought the Slate.
Yeah.
And it just got, it got stuck here on the end of my boom arm and has never left. So I was using it for work for a while until I got this webcam. And then it just became one too many things to try to set up early in the morning.
Yeah.
And work can hear me and they don't need studio level vocals like we do here.
Yeah. Why give them the good stuff?
They don't care. They don't need the good stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's really well constructed. I don't, if I feel like it's like Shure level constructed. Like if I dropped it on the floor, I wouldn't even bat an eye.
Yeah.
It's solid. I don't have a pop filter on it. I just have the foam windscreen that came with it.
Yeah.
But I talk into it off axis, right? So I'm talking over it instead of into it. But yeah, for for $150, it's a solid workhorse of a mic.
Yeah. I think it sounds great. I'm still using the Synco mic D2, which is the shotgun mic.
Yeah, that thing's a workhorse too, and that thing sounds great.
Yeah, thanks. And it's neat because I'm sitting maybe 18 inches away from it right now. which is great. It's not like right in my face.
Yeah, that's kind of a treat to be able to have it farther away and not have it, have to worry about where your head is and stuff.
Yeah. And it's got good proximity effect.
Oh yeah, that sounds tasty.
Which maybe I should be doing. Listeners, vote. Should I talk like this, or should I keep going like this where it's comfortable?
Well, man, when you got close, you sounded like you were like right next to me. That was kind of cool.
Broadcast voice. Maybe I should
you sound like you're
this.
In the room here with me.
Does this get silky smooth?
I don't know. It's almost creepy how close you sound. Like, because dude, are you next to me?
I really have this like silky smooth envy thing going on.
You sound a little less relaxed though. You know what I mean? You sound a little less laid back. I'm used to laid back, Doug.
Okay. Well, that's because I am laying back while we're recording this. But the reason I was asking about your mic is because I'm considering acquiring a new mic for miking my guitar cabinet.
Oh.
And
it's supposed to be good for that. It's supposed to have like good SPL and it's a pretty flat response. That was the other thing too.
Yeah.
Is that it's a pretty flat response mic, and that's part of what makes it general purpose. I would say the quality of the construction, A, and B, the flat response. Because I used to use for all my vocal stuff, I used to use my Behringer B2 Pro, which I love. It does have a little bit of a color to it. It has a little bit of air to it, which is nice for vocals, because you're going to add that probably in post anyway in a song. But it was a little much for podcasting, I thought. So that's an interesting thing too. Everybody's voice is different, and what you're using your mic for is different. So that's why everybody has like a mic locker, and people who get hung up on, well, what's the one mic for me? Well, I can't really say, what are you going to use it for and what's your voice sound like? It's kind of like you got to match the voice and what you're doing to the microphone, and it might take you a while. I mean, I went to AES one time and just tried like 30 different microphones and took notes on which ones sounded.
That sounds
good.
Fun.
That's such a treat too, because you go to a music store and they're, they don't want to.
AES?
I had a free pass. It was in San Francisco one year, and I went down there. Well, it was a free pass, or no, it was like a $25 floor pass.
Oh, cool.
And I went to like the AKG.
I thought you had to be either an AES member or a vendor.
Not to get on the floor, not for the trade show. For the class, the courses and the the panels and all that stuff, you got to be a member.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was a treat. Yeah, that was when I fell in love with the Shadow Hills compressor, because they had the actual hardware iron there. Fell in love with Mojave microphones and AKG microphones and especially Audio-Technica microphones. It was a treat to be able to try out so much stuff, because you can't do that in a music store.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know anybody that has that many microphones. And I was just kind of like, okay, this one, no, this one, no, this one. Oh yeah, that one sounds pretty good. And how's your average person going to know that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I went with the Slate, where you can use a software it's a flat microphone, and then use software that models classic microphones that you would never be able to normally afford.
Yeah. Do you ever use it just like flat without any emulation?
It sounds pretty good just flat without any emulation, yeah. And then what's funny is you can actually use the emulation on your non-Slate microphones, as long as you have the plugin.
Now, can you apply emulation in post?
Yeah.
So you can
As it turns out, you can.
You can record flat if you want to, or you can record with emulation.
Yeah.
Neat. So you could actually just record flat and then try a whole bunch of different mics in post.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And I tried to last summer, when everybody was stuck at home, I tried to do that as a service, but either I didn't explain it very well, or nobody was interested in it. I was like, yeah, send me your marginally well recorded vocals from home.
Oh, it doesn't have to be recorded with the Slate. Nope. You can apply the emulation to any recording.
That is correct, sir. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I will make it sound like it was recorded in a studio for cheap. And it was like crickets. I was like, Come on, man. It sounded like it would be a great service, but I don't know.
I think
Maybe I
it's
just
cool.
didn't explain it well.
I just sent you money.
Ding ding.
You got paid.
That is one of the sweetest emails you can get.
Yeah. So I've been gravitating towards the Royer page lately, and I really think I'm going to end up with an R10.
Is that a ribbon?
That's a ribbon.
I've
And
always been curious about a ribbon
because there's a couple different things. One, it pairs up with an SM57 beautifully, and they actually make a neat little mic clip that holds the 57 and the Royer at the correct angles.
Is that right?
Yeah, so you can blend the Royer and a 57 together because those two are a great match. The other thing is that the Royer is really amazing as an acoustic guitar microphone.
Okay.
And I think that I have some options with my large diaphragm condenser and the 57 and a Royer combination for a 3-mic blend with 2 mics on a cabinet and then one. It would probably be what I'd end up doing is do the 57 and the large diaphragm on the cabinet and then use the ribbon mic at the way that I've seen them, the examples of how they're doing it, like in Royer posts and stuff like that, is like at the 12th fret on an acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, 12 to 18 inches away, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I just think that would be really fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And then to take an acoustic electric track, with like a jazz guitar or something like that, and record and be able to blend in. My hollow body electric is also an acoustic guitar, and so to get the acoustic,
yeah,
at the same time, to get that blended in with the electric coming out of the cabinet, I think would be a really neat blend. So I'd like to try that.
Yeah, from what I understand, and I've never listened to one, I don't think, the ribbon mics have a warmth that you don't get with a dynamic or a condenser. Like condensers can be mid-heavy or they can be, they can have air on top, crisp. And dynamics definitely favor the mids and the low mids. But I think from what I understand, there's something about a ribbon mic that just gives a roundness, a depth, and a warmth that's nice on vocals in particular, but also, I guess, guitars, even cabs, if you get one that can handle the high SPL without disintegrating.
Yeah, and the R10 actually has a higher SPL for. I'm gonna go look it up right now.
I think you were telling me that.
I can't remember. Like 160 is coming to mind or something like that. Let me see.
Well, that's pretty high.
Let's see what it says.
Yeah, it would be interesting to do a shootout.
I nailed it. 160 dB SPL for a ribbon mic. I mean, you could
that's up there.
You could do horns with that,
Yeah, totally. Huh.
But I think it's probably in the same price range as your Slate, if I recall.
Yeah, the Slate was on sale. I got it for $500 on sale.
Oh, okay.
It normally is around $700, $750, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So the Royer is around $500, depending on what you get. You can get like a kit with a cable and a stand, but I don't want that. But just get the mic, and it comes with a funky little. I think you got to buy the clip separately for that I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bolts of 57. I can't remember what that was, like $25 or something like that.
And you're thinking of that exclusively for your acoustic?
No, I would think that would be excellent to have the 57 and the Royer on like my Marshall cabinet.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about at first.
But for my acoustic, I would like to, or for the jazz guitar, I think that having the Royer on the guitar itself and then a 57 and a large diaphragm condenser on the cabinet would be really cool. And maybe like pull the LDC back a little bit and allow it to get a little room in it with the 57 up tight, and then the Royer getting the acoustic. There would probably be some bleed coming from the amp. But yeah, I think that would be pretty neat to blend that together.
Yeah, I think I'd like to hear that. So I have a question about multiple mics on cabs now? Because you're talking about that sounds like you're miking different things with different mics for different, different. They have different qualifications, and you're doing it on purpose. What about? I know you don't do a lot of recording or mixing these days, but when you were, or how do you think of it? This is a long preamble. When you have multiple mics on a cab, are you doing it so that you can get the blend, or that you have options, or so that you can just hear which one sounds better later?
Well, in the context of what I was just talking about, it's for the blend. So
Yeah.
I'm imagining all three of these mics coming together and consolidating those into one track, in a bounce at some point.
Yeah.
And then mixing that blend together. It gives you that versatility. Go, oh yeah, that ribbon mic, I'd like to get a little bit more of that in there. It's a little fuller bodied or something like that. And it's warmer. And that's, bring that tone. And that 57's a little harsh, but it's given some nice edge.
Right. Right.
And then a little bit of room in the large diaphragm condenser. So I'll kind of treat it kind of like a room mic for the guitar or something. I don't know. It would just, I have to play with it,
Yeah.
3 mics. You got so much you can do. But yeah, good point. You could also do one take and have 3 different options.
Yeah. Because I get that sometimes. I'll get and I have to make the decision, right? I'll get sent, here's the left guitar with the 57, and the left guitar with I don't know, 421 or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, do I pick one? Do I blend them together? Which sounds better in the mix? To what percentage?
And
then
try. I would.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I know it's a case by case basis, but I just wonder what you're because if you're not the engineer, if you're not the one recording it with an intent,
yeah,
then you have to kind of interpret.
Well,
the intent.
I guess one thing that matters is it the same take?
In this case, yes.
What's that?
In this case, it was, yes.
Yeah. So you would have the option of doing either.
Right.
Because you've got different mics on different takes. They're going to have different sonic qualities. You don't have to worry about phase cancellation. If it's multiple takes with the same mic, same thing, you don't have to worry about that. But if it's the same take, I guess, with the same mic, and then it's been copied or something like that, that would be the only time you'd be, really be concerned about.
Yeah, I check it anyway, because the mics are never going to be the exact same distance from the cone. You got to kind of check the phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do find that, and like you're like, well, I wasn't there, so I don't know where this was placed exactly.
Yeah.
Or how it sounded to you.
I find my 57 to be really boomy.
Oh, you do? Because
Yeah.
I was finding these 57s in the track I'm thinking of were kind of harsh and not so boomy.
Oh, okay.
So,
I've actually got it on the cone.
Okay.
At the edge of the dust cap, and just the slightest angle, not very much at all, maybe 10 degrees pointing into or away from center.
Yeah.
But with a big fat hollow body jazz guitar, it's just getting really booming. And
I see.
And so I was thinking, if I could turn that and just, here comes Asia. She's excited. Hey.
Scribble scrabble of feet.
Yeah.
It sounded like you spilled some M&Ms on the floor.
Yeah, but anyway, she just bumped her head really hard, and it didn't bother her at all. Yeah, but anyway, so I want more. I want some warmth and stuff, and that's what's, that 57 has been driving me to want something else.
So, okay, so now I feel like I'm getting a big picture here. You converted your studio from a band recording and mixing and general purpose studio with a live recording setup to basically a master focused studio, but you have just bought a new Epiphone head and cab. You got all your guitars lined up, and now you're looking for a Royer microphone. It sounds like you plan to be doing some songwriting or recording of your own.
I'm still playing. And most of the time I've got another 2 jazz guitars, and the other times I grab one. I'm never plugged in, and I just practice upstairs and and just do that. It just, whenever I can, I grab it, and I
Yeah,
spend a half hour here and another half hour here. Sometimes I get a full hour, and weekends I get more time. I just make that easily accessible, and I don't worry about cables or anything. But I am writing stuff while I'm doing that.
yeah.
I've actually got a couple tunes, and so
Oh,
I've been thinking that I'd like to actually record them.
cool, cool.
But I keep, and the impetus for the thinking about the Royer is that I haven't been happy with any of my tracking yet, because I'm not liking the capture that I'm getting
I see.
during my tracking right now with the jazz guitar.
And are you doing your tracking in the same your converted mastering studio?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I've the back wall of my mastering studio is my guitar studio, and I just basically swivel around in my chair and grab a guitar.
That's cool.
And I've got like 4 or 5 amplifiers and my guitars and pedal board back here.
That's funny. Yeah, I will say I have yet to record vocals other than podcast vocals in here in this space. And I've only just recently recorded some guitars for the first time, and that was some kind of overdubs for a track I'm producing for somebody. And yeah, I've mostly been mixing and mastering and podcasting and not actually creating anything. It's kind of got me. I feel a little itchy. I
Yeah.
feel like I got that itch. I think you must have it too.
Well, just, even if I don't get to record, I just want to continue to write stuff and keep developing as a guitar player. So that's something I always want to do. I just,
Oh yeah,
even if it never comes to anything, it's just part of my personal passion and the satisfaction of doing it. You have to do the work,
right.
and it's hard to find the time to do the work. And so it's always a, when am I going to be able to practice today thing? And I'm always looking for the
Mm.
opportunities to try and grab that. And so, after we get done here, I know I've got at least a half an hour, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to go work on melodic minor scales tonight. That's what I'm interested
Oh,
in
nice.
taking a look at. And then I'm looking at triads out of the melodic minor scale to start working on how to write solo lines out of triads in melodic minor, and what chords that would sound good in. So anyway,
Well, that's cool. And this is with your teacher, or are you coming up with this plan on your own?
no, this is just stuff I wanted to work on my own.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you never, I figured out a long time ago, you never find the time for stuff. You make the time for stuff.
Yeah. I took my guitar lesson budget for this month,
Yep.
and I joined a Patreon group
Oh,
for jazz guitar.
oh wow,
And
cool.
and so I'm getting a bunch of ideas on things to practice out of this Patreon group. And I don't know, it's $10 a week or something like that. And so I thought, I'm going to do this for a couple months and just see how I like it. Because there's more content than I know what to do with. Actually, it was a little bit daunting.
Oh yeah.
My initial reaction was a little overwhelmed
I know that feeling.
of where to begin. But then
Right.
I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna thumb through this content, and I'm gonna find things that go, oh, that's interesting, and I'm just gonna look into that and take little deep dives, and then the next day do something different, whatever I'm interested in. I don't. I'm more. I just want to be happy doing it and have fun.
Yeah.
So what am I like? What would be fun to work on today? So that's kind of where I'm at. So today I think working on melodic minor would be fun. So I'm going to do.
Well, that sounds really interesting to me. Yeah, I feel like, what was I going to say? I mean, like, like if you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to begin. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Just pick a spot and go.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice because what I initially thought was confusing and overwhelming actually becomes just a grab bag of
Yeah.
what am I interested in today. It takes about 5 minutes of looking through things, and oh, okay, here's a 10-minute video and some transcriptions. I'm going to go check that out, So I got 10 or 15 minutes in checking out a video and on this topic and related concepts, and then transcription that I can then kind of go noodle around with and figure out the lines that were being played in the example and stuff, and then look at it closer and just whatever comes to mind. And then I try to always end with, how do I make this musical? And then start trying to write lines out of, using the concept, the scales or the, whatever, or the arpeggios or the pieces, like the triads. That's actually something that I always kind of discounted, but now that I'm looking at there, if you take a scale and you start breaking it down into the triads, you have a chord for every note in the scale.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, wow, so here's like 7 chords and 7 notes that go all those chords. And so how can I make that musical? And for every scale, major, minor, altered scale, and melodic minor, which are for jazz, that's like the whole foundation of stuff right there.
Right. Did you find the secret chord?
Oh, I have secret chords. I have chords I created.
Nice.
Nobody else knows them.
Too funny. Yeah, no, that sounds good. It's inspirational to me. I feel like going and practicing some guitar now.
Well, you should.
Well, yeah, after dinner.
As I'm pointing my finger.
Got some
Go practice.
enchiladas in the oven. After the enchiladas, I'll practice some scales.
You're going to get enchilada sauce on your guitar.
It's possible.
I've seen how you eat enchiladas. No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen how you eat.
They're pretty good though. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more or less what you picture.
Actually, I'm kind of have this, I'm envisioning you with like a lobster bib. I don't know why.
Well, I do. I usually wear an apron when I cook, and I don't usually take it off for dinner. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
So that's probably close to what you're picturing. It's not a lot.
I guess in a semi-related thing, I think I'm going to get the smoker out this weekend.
Oh,
and get
yeah.
Cleaned up. It's
It's
Easter
here.
weekend, so we're gonna.
It was like 75 here today.
Yeah,
sunny and 75. It's definitely grill weather.
Oh yeah, it'd definitely be getting down. It was a little bit of frost on the ground this morning from overnight, but then it warmed up. We've had some wind, so it's been a pretty chilly wind. So it's still in the 50s and 60s here, but
if it's windy, you can still put the smoker out, right? It doesn't blow smoke everywhere.
From what I understand, the smokers actually work better in colder weather for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Better able to maintain heat inside or something like that without getting too hot.
Like they can be more consistent or something.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, I think that was kind of a fun impromptu episode.
Aren't they always?
I think they are always, yes.
If it's improv. And
it is.
There's nothing better than riffing and improvising, in my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, who wants to play the same old thing all the time,
I do think that's kind of what makes this fun. It's just like coming up with all of this stuff on the fly.
Like if we talked about the same thing all the time, like that would be like if you practiced your major scale every day for like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got really good at it.
I did that.
Did you?
Yeah. There was a time I was playing 15 hours a day.
Oh my goodness.
And my parents were like, you got to move out.
The only thing I've ever done for 15 hours is breathe.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't, I was living at home, didn't have a job, and I'd wake up and play guitar. I think I had there was 2 years of nothing but playing guitar every day. It was a long time ago.
It sounds like my son with his recorder. He was on his trumpet, right? And he decided last year to set himself a task of transcribing all of, what was it first? Like all of the Harry Potter soundtracks, transcribing them for trumpet.
Really?
Yeah. And then he moved on to Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, he went through each of his favorite movie series and wrote all the notes, transcribing every single score for trumpet.
Wow.
And then when he took a music class last semester, and had to play the recorder. It was like such a basic music class. He was dying because he'd already played the recorder back in 4th grade and moved on from there. And he was back to the recorder again in college. But then he realized he didn't have to pull out his trumpet because he could use the recorder to do all this transcription work
Oh,
and then just, move it up a scale or whatever. And
hey, speaking of
So-
which,
now I hear the recorder all the time.
have you ever tried Guitar Pro,
I don't think so.
which is it's guitar-centric transcription software?
Oh, no,
And
I have not.
I guess it's got some decent guitar emulations in it to play back. So after you write your music into it, then you can, when you play it back, it actually sounds good.
Oh, that's cool.
But it seems to be a really popular. I haven't used it, and I'm just kind of inquiring because it seems to be a really popular and kind of ubiquitous way for guitar players to transcribe and share music and create tabs and charts and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about, I use MuseScore, but I find it really, it's a great program, but wow, is it way more than I really need.
Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of thinking that maybe something more guitar centric, like Guitar Pro, might be something to look at. So there's probably a trial. I should try it out.
Yeah, I'll look into it because I've never really heard about it.
I think it's around
sounds like it might be
$70 or
useful.
something like that. Maybe our listeners
Yeah.
are familiar with it and they can chime in on that,
That'd be cool. Yeah, listeners, if you know anything about Guitar Pro and you use it and you have something to say, let us know.
So anyway, well,
Yeah, well, thanks everybody
Yeah.
for tuning in to our ramblings and rantings, and hope you have as much fun listening as we do recording.
yes, because we love to talk.
We do.
Yeah, some point, sometimes people tell us to shut up.
Nobody's telling me to shut up. Who are you talking about? So have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us a review if you can. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Indie Music Podcast. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, or just leave us a review on iTunes if you like what you've heard. Find our social links and episode guide at indiemusiccast.com. Until next time, keep creating.